It's good. It's putting me in your position.
Yes.
You know how it feels. Were you a bit nervous the first time you made a video?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, who wouldn't be? All right. Oh, it's recording already. Anyway.
It's recording. Okay, this could be part. Okay, right.
Yeah.
So I'll let you kick it off.
All right. So this is Dean from the Dean team here again. This time I have a guest. We have Zula Haigh from Connected Speech Pathology. She's going to explain some of the more technical aspects of speech pathology in relation to Parkinson's and the problems I've had in the past with swallowing and speech, and she's helped me with these videos. And over to Zula to introduce herself.
Hi. So yeah, I'm Zula. I'm a speech pathologist. I've been working with Dean for about a year. I'm working in this field for about 10 years. We're going to make today a conversation really about... So today we'll talk about the impacts on speech and swallowing that Parkinson's disease can lead to, talking about Dean's own experience and where you can go to find out more. So to get us started, Dean, you tell me, what do you understand about how Parkinson's has affected your voice and your communication?
Well, as far as the voice and communication, I think Parkinson's sort of is a diminishing type of disease. It quietens your voice, doesn't make you mumble, but it causes you to mumble. And people can't hear you, especially in social situations. So that's mainly what I understand about the speech part.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you talked about there, Dean, about that, the kind of the reduced amplitude of movements, that's exactly what's happening. So as I know that you know, Parkinson's impacts dopamine production in the brain, and that's a neurotransmitter that's involved in smooth automatic movements. So these are the movements we do without really thinking about.
Yep.
And speech involves many coordinated movements of many different muscle groups, and what can happen is the impact of that reduced dopamine is you get a reduced amplitude of movement, so the movements become smaller, your breath support for speech can be reduced, and then the movements of the articulators as well, which can lead to kind of muffled, unclear speech. Now this, we've talked before about this being an automatic function. The way that Parkinson's impacts the brain, it doesn't impact intentional motor movements. And that means that you can really work to increase your speech strength and clarity through exercise, just like you would with your body going to a program like PD Warriors. So maybe, Dean, you can tell us a little bit about some of the exercises that we've done together.
Yeah, bit embarrassing, I must admit. You don't want to do them in public, that's for sure, unless you're a singer or
Yeah.
very extroverted. It's mainly long R's, sort of like and just holding them as long as you can. So there you go, it's embarrassing every time. And different changes in pitch, which helps. So if you can hear me clearly now, well, it's because of speech pathology.
And I have to also highlight with Dean as well, Dean got started early.
Yeah.
And I'm a great believer in early intervention, and I think you would meet Dean and definitely not think he's having any difficulties when it comes to speech. But what he has done is got started with those strength exercises really early. And there's something that you do want to do with the support of a speech pathologist or a speech therapist, so that you know that you're doing them while you're being monitored and you're doing the exercises safely. But yeah, just as you've explained, we've done lots of exercises around vocal strength, also changing pitch. Some people with Parkinson's find that their speech can sound a bit monotone, and that's another aspect of speech that a speech pathologist can help you with. There's another thing that we've been doing, and I'm going to grab the box. Do you want to tell everyone about this
props.
one?
We have props. Okay, this is an EMST. Stands for... I haven't got that. I'm old.
An expiratory muscle strength trainer.
There you go.
It's training the muscles of expiration, so your abdominals, your intercostals, and it can help with vocal intensity. So this is a device that Dean he blows into, he expires with great strength, following a very strict program that has been well researched and is all outlined in the guidelines that come with the box. Again, I would do it with a healthcare professional, getting you started to make sure you're using it appropriately.
And this is not a commercial, by the way. We're not selling these.
No, but it is a device that I really recommend in many cases after an assessment to check to be sure it's suitable. Now, this is a device that can be used, as I've said, to improve vocal strength and intensity, but it can also help with swallowing. So let's use that as a bridge to swallowing. What's your experience of the impact of Parkinson's on your swallow?
Well, there was a definite impact, and I've heard other people just recently that have been impacted in the same way. So I was getting stuff stuck in my throat. It wasn't choking as such, but obviously it could possibly lead that way. Just a sticking of food in the throat, not being able to get it down properly. Yeah. I understand it's to do with the epiglottis in the throat, which Zula's going to explain how that works, but it's a muscle like anything else, so it can be affected by Parkinson's and it can be dangerous.
Yeah. Exactly. I think Dean, you know more than you think you know, because you do a very good understanding of how it all has impacted you and how it works. So just as with speech, swallowing is an automatic function, and it involves complex coordination of many muscle groups as well as your respiration. And we use the same passage, I suppose, for breathing, eating and speaking, and you can't do all of those things at the same time. So that's where it becomes quite a complex process of coordinated muscle movements. Now, what can happen for some people with Parkinson's disease is that the muscles for swallowing are impacted, and that a common complaint that Dean has experienced is that sense of food getting stuck. Now, I haven't done an X-ray or had access to an X-ray of Dean's swallow, but an instrumental assessment like an X-ray or a fibre optic evaluation of his swallow, that's where you'd go in with a camera through the nose, would tell me exactly what's going on. But because Dean's troubles were very mild, that wasn't really indicated, and we went down an approach of using the same exercises as we've done for the speech, the EMST, which is known to improve swallow function, and also making a few little changes. What was working for you when you were eating?
The chin.
The chin tuck.
Dropping the chin there. Yeah.
So working together with Dean, something he noticed is that if it felt like something was stuck, if he tipped his chin and had a drink, that helps clear it too. So we really worked together on this to try and find solutions. And something I'll do with Dean going forward is just monitoring his swallow and making sure that everything is working as it should be, or whether we need to make any changes.
Yep, and that's the key. You got to keep going with this. Parkinson's is a disease that's not going to give up. It's relentless. So you need to keep the exercises going, keep the therapies going, and get the work done.
Yeah, and have fun. So
and have fun. Don't get embarrassed.
Don't get embarrassed. There you might find yourself singing in the car.
Yes.
Working on communication can be really fun, and if you can find a speech pathologist who you have a good connection with, hopefully it will be an enjoyable experience. I would say anyone, even if your diagnosis is quite early, it's definitely worth seeking an assessment from a speech pathologist, speech therapist. You can go and speak to your GP, Parkinson's New South Wales. You may be on the NDIS and they can help you with that, your support coordinator. And you can check in with me if you have any questions.
Zula Haigh, Connected Speech Pathology.
I'll put my email address down there.
Exactly. All right, I think that's all from Zula and the Dean team.
Thanks, Dean.
We'll see you next time, and don't forget what I always say, to beat relentless, you have to be relentless. See you next time.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.